Can I take a moment to prove to you the kindness of God? If you followed me for any amount of time, you know my favorite thing to study, my favorite thing to talk about is God's character. It's unsearchable. Until heaven, we won't understand it in full. And I'm convinced that when it talks about for eternity, where we will be falling down, worshiping him forever, I was always like, gosh, how are we going to do that forever? Because he's constantly going to reveal more of himself to us and we're going to be in awe. I tell you how kind he is. Can I prove it to you? A few months back, probably 6 months ago, heard a new song in church. It brought me to my knees. It brought tears to my eyes. I love to worship. I listen to Christian music 99.9% of the time. Love worship songs, but there's those certain ones, that we all have that bring us to our knees and bring tears to our eyes. There's those ones. And it was one that I hadn't been hit like that in a long time. So I listened to it a lot after that. It really helped me worship. One specific day, I had an encounter with the Lord while worshiping. It wasn't some big supernatural. We don't have to get all ooey gooey. I'm just saying, I felt the presence of God in that moment. And it was a really beautiful, very personal and private time with him while I was worshiping to that exact song. That night, I fell to great temptation. Temptation like I had not yet been pressed. And I fell. And I failed. And it cost me greatly. I have spoken about this exact testimony in another video. I've been very forward about what it is to be sanctified on this walk with Christ. But ever since that night, because of the cost I paid for my own disobedience, I haven't been able to listen to that song. I haven't had the heart to take it off of my playlist, but every time it comes on, I have to change it because the shame, the guilt, the angst, I can't take it. And that song no longer hits for me, at least not hits from a worshipful place, right? And I just thought that's the way it was going to be for the rest of time. So fast forward a few months later to last week, my son, 12 years old, goes to his first night of teenage Bible study. He got in the car, asked him how it went. He was super casual. It went well. I had fun, blah, blah. We get home. I'm about to get out of the car and he says, Mom, will you just turn off the car and sit with me? And I'm like, of course. Turn off the car. Music's still playing because it doesn't turn off until you open the door and get out of the car. We're sitting there and he confesses to me that he had a moment with the Lord during worship at his church gathering that night. And he's sharing with me about how he really wants to live for the Lord, but he has this internal shame of not living up to God's holiness and letting God down. And while I'm preaching to my son and sharing solid theology with him about, you're right, you will mess up, you will fail, you will not be perfect on this pursuit of Christ, but you're not going to let him down. If you are walking in humility and humbleness, if you walk in repentance when you screw up, your life is going to be a living testimony to the forgiveness and goodness of God. You're not going to let him down. While I'm preaching to my son what it is to really fail, but that you can't walk in the shame and the guilt, and you can't let yourself not even play the game because you're too scared of striking out. While I'm preaching that to him, guess what song comes on? That worship song from that night. And my son and I just bawl. And I shared the full testimony with him. I shared about my temptation. I shared about the night I fell and that this used to be my favorite worship song and I haven't been able to listen to it since that night. And now God's kindness is preaching through me to my son, yet using his spirit to preach right to me and redeeming my favorite worship song. I've played it every day since. I've wept every day since. I've worshiped to it every day since.